At the age of 67, Angela Kelly, who served as Queen Elizabeth's personal dresser for many years, is finally opening up. After spending decades behind the royal curtain, she's now sharing untold stories and insights about the Queen, details no one else has ever dared to reveal. What exactly did she witness? What were the Queen's private thoughts? This is a royal story unlike anything you've heard before. Angela Kelly didn't come from nobility, nor did she have the refined background typically associated with life inside Buckingham Palace. Yet, in 1994, an unexpected twist changed her life. At the time, Angela was employed as a housekeeper for the British ambassador in Germany. A chance meeting with Prince Andrew led her to an interview at Windsor Castle, a rare opportunity. That meeting marked the beginning of her entry into a world few ever get to experience. She was offered the position of dresser to the Queen, a title that, while sounding simple, carried far more weight than it suggested. Stepping into such a prestigious role wasn't without challenges. Angela didn't just assist the Queen with her wardrobe. Over time, she became a trusted companion. Their professional relationship gradually deepened into something personal, built on mutual trust and respect. Angela once expressed in a rare interview, "I love the Queen and everything about her. She has allowed me to get close to her, and she has trusted me for a long time." In the typically formal environment of the royal household, such closeness between monarch and staff is incredibly rare, but Angela and the Queen quietly broke through that barrier. Away from the public eye, beyond the glittering state dinners and official duties, the two found solace in one another's presence. Angela's warm Liverpudlian wit helped forge their bond. The Queen, often perceived as serious and reserved, appreciated humor and genuinely enjoyed Angela's company. There were no public displays of affection, no cheerful photos of the two embracing or laughing, but Angela's place in the Queen's inner world became undeniably clear. She lived within the palace walls, traveled alongside the Queen, and witnessed both personal and historic moments. In a world where tradition and hierarchy are the norm, Angela made her mark not by demanding it but by earning it steadily through dedication. When she was later honored with the title of personal advisor and curator to Her Majesty, it wasn't just a promotion, it was a silent but significant acknowledgement of the vital role she played in the Queen's life. Her responsibilities had grown far beyond choosing outfits. She took charge of managing the Queen's jewels and ceremonial accessories and even researched cultural traditions and venue specifics to ensure the Queen's attire was appropriate and meaningful for every occasion. Angela wasn't just creating stylish ensembles, she was dressing a monarch with precision, care, and intention. The amount of thought behind each decision was extraordinary. To understand the depth of her role, we must look back to how it all began and appreciate the effort Angela put forth to earn such profound trust. Her position at Buckingham Palace went far beyond the role of a stylist, she became an essential part of royal life. Angela Kelly was the trusted force behind every outfit Queen Elizabeth II wore during the later years of her reign. To most people around the world, the Queen's clothing appeared to be elegant dresses in soft pastels or rich, bold colors. But to Angela, each outfit carried a deeper message. Her work wasn't just about looking stylish, it was about meaning. She had to do her homework thoroughly, understanding the culture of the country the Queen was visiting, checking the weather forecast, and considering the historical significance of certain colors or patterns. She even looked into the backgrounds of visiting dignitaries. In her writings, Angela noted how important color was to the Queen's presence. The Queen needed to be easily seen, even from the back of a crowd. So bright colors weren't chosen for fashion, they were part of her duty. Dressing the Queen was never a simple task. Last-minute decisions weren't part of Angela's world. Every piece of clothing was planned well in advance, sometimes weeks or even months ahead. Angela once revealed a fascinating detail: Queen Elizabeth often chose to wear fabrics that had been stored for decades, some dating as far back as 1961. While that might seem unusual for a monarch, it reflected a key part of the Queen's character, her practicality. She preferred to use what she already had, not because she had to, but because she believed in avoiding waste. This principle of frugality was something Angela respected and worked with, always ensuring the result looked both elegant and timeless. In an interview, Angela explained one of her more delicate tasks: breaking in the Queen's new shoes. She would quietly walk across the palace's carpeted hallways in the footwear, gently softening the leather so that the Queen would feel like she had been wearing them for days. It was a small gesture, but one that showed how deeply Angela understood the Queen's comfort was essential, not optional, especially since the Queen spent hours standing during ceremonies or meeting people. Perfection was expected. Every detail had to be flawless, from the stitching on a dress to the precise match of jewelry. The Queen's wardrobe was meticulously maintained, organized with handwritten notes, labeled storage, and photographs. Angela ensured the Queen never wore the same outfit twice at a significant event, but she also made sure nothing was wasted, skirts were modified, and buttons were replaced to refresh older designs. Though Queen Elizabeth was consistently praised for her style and grace, very few realized that Angela Kelly's unseen efforts made it all possible. The world saw the final image, the elegance and confidence, but it was Angela who ensured every thread, every fold, and every sparkle came together seamlessly behind the scenes. She wasn't just picking out hats or dresses, she was helping to create lasting memories that would be admired across generations. A perfect example of this came during the 2012 London Olympics opening ceremony. The world watched with excitement, expecting tradition and spectacle. But what truly surprised everyone was the Queen's unexpected appearance in a short film alongside James Bond. The biggest shock came when the camera turned to her face and she delivered a now iconic line, "Good evening, Mr. Bond." It was an idea that began as a light-hearted suggestion, unexpected, bold, and unmistakably British. But Angela saw something deeper in it. She recognized that the Queen possessed a hidden sense of humor, one that the public seldom had the chance to witness. Angela's encouragement marked a turning point. With her support, the Queen found a way to step beyond the traditional confines of royal formality, all without ever compromising her dignity. Angela had an uncommon insight into Her Majesty's personality, particularly her distinctive humor, sharp, dry, clever, and occasionally playfully mischievous. A delightful example of this came one April Fool's Day when Angela decided to play a prank on the Queen. She placed a stuffed toy kookaburra outside the Queen's window and claimed it was a real bird from Australia. The Queen leaned in, studied it carefully, then smiled and said, "You're joking." Instead of being upset, she burst into laughter, enjoying the innocent joke. That brief, joyful moment unveiled a side of the Queen that most people never had the chance to see. It also highlighted the unique closeness between her and Angela. Not everyone could play a prank on the monarch and still keep their job. Angela, however, was far more than just a member of the royal staff. She became someone the Queen truly trusted and enjoyed spending time with. While the palace maintained its formal appearance to the world, behind its grand doors were moments filled with warmth and laughter that brought a sense of humanity to royal life. Angela played a critical role during many public events, not only in managing the Queen's wardrobe but also in shaping the overall mood, helping with planning, and offering steady personal support. She often worked several steps ahead to ensure everything unfolded smoothly. Despite her forward-thinking approach, Angela remained deeply committed to preserving royal traditions. She understood that every public appearance carried with it a sense of history. In 2004, Queen Elizabeth II entrusted Angela with a particularly sensitive task, recreating the royal christening gown that had been in the family since Queen Victoria's era. The original garment, created in 1841, had been used for generations of royal babies. But after more than 100 years of service, the gown's delicate fabric had become too worn to continue. The Queen knew it was time to retire it, but she wanted a new version that would hold the same emotional and historical weight for the generations to come. And so, she turned to Angela. This task was far more complex than simply sewing a new garment. It was about crafting a replica that preserved the spirit and detail of the original so precisely that it felt as though nothing had changed. Angela approached the project with deep care and a sense of responsibility. She understood the christening gown wasn't just clothing, it was a symbol of continuity, a thread that connected the past with the present. To achieve the closest match, Angela and her team searched meticulously for the right materials. They eventually selected fine lace from Italy, chosen for its softness and delicate craftsmanship. Yet, even with the perfect lace, something felt incomplete. The new gown lacked the aged appearance that gave the original its charm. The old gown had developed a gentle, antique look over time, one that spoke of tradition and memory. In contrast, a brand new gown naturally looked too pristine, too modern. Angela recognized this, and it became her mission to bridge that gap between the old and the new. Angela came up with a rather unusual solution to the problem. She and her team decided to use Yorkshire tea to dye the lace, giving it a gentle, cream-colored shade that closely resembled the aged look of the original fabric. Her dedication and attention to detail paid off. The replica gown was completed with great care and affection. It was first used during the christening of the Queen's youngest grandson, James, Viscount Severn, in 2008. Since then, the gown has been worn by several royal babies, including the children of the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge and the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. Every time the gown is seen in public, it quietly reflects Angela Kelly's craftsmanship and the deep-rooted royal traditions it symbolizes. When the COVID-19 pandemic struck, it brought massive changes around the globe, and the royal family was no exception. In an effort to reduce exposure, the royal household downsized its staff. During this quiet and uncertain time, Angela's role took on even more importance. As the world came to a halt, life inside the palace changed drastically. The usual routines disappeared, public engagements were put on hold, and the grand halls grew silent. Yet through it all, Angela Kelly remained a steady presence beside Queen Elizabeth II. Angela became part of an exclusive group of staff members referred to as the HMS Bubble, who lived in isolation with the Queen and Prince Philip at Windsor Castle. This period was far from a restful retreat, it came with immense responsibility. With fewer hands to help, those within the bubble had to take on multiple roles to ensure the household continued to function smoothly. When Prince Philip passed away in 2021, the Queen stayed at Windsor, and the bubble arrangement continued for some time. Angela remained at her side, offering support and companionship through grief and aging. Even after restrictions began to lift and normalcy slowly returned, that shared time in isolation stood out as a deeply meaningful and unique experience in their journey together. What Angela did next was groundbreaking, something no royal staff member had ever dared to do. She found the courage to take an extraordinary step. With Queen Elizabeth II's personal approval, Angela was allowed to write openly about their relationship, an honor never before granted to any serving member of the royal household. This was a significant and rare gesture, giving the public an intimate look beyond the palace walls and into the Queen's closely guarded private life. The outcome was Angela's book, The Other Side of the Coin, The Queen, the Dresser, and the Wardrobe. It quickly gained attention, not only because it was the first insider's account from a current royal staffer, but also because it painted a sincere, affectionate, and vivid portrait of the Queen's personality, daily routines, and the meticulous care behind her iconic wardrobe. Angela spent decades working quietly in the background, her presence known only to a select few within the royal circle. Despite the significance of her position, she remained largely out of the public eye. As the Queen's dresser, Angela was responsible for every detail concerning Her Majesty's wardrobe and accessories. She worked with delicate fabrics, handled priceless jewels, and managed royal insignia, ensuring that the Queen was impeccably presented on every occasion. However, Angela's role extended far beyond her official duties. In interviews following the release of her book, she spoke of the profound connection she shared with Queen Elizabeth. Their bond wasn't merely professional, the Queen confided in Angela and trusted her deeply. Angela explained that the Queen often sought her advice and opened up to her about personal matters. This close relationship gave Angela the confidence to write her book with both honesty and reverence. Publishing the book was a bold move for Angela. The royal household is famously guarded, with strict expectations around privacy and discretion. Staff members are typically expected to remain silent about their roles, preserving the mystique that surrounds the monarchy. By choosing to share her story, Angela stepped away from long-standing tradition in a groundbreaking way. Her writing is warm and straightforward, drawing readers into the inner world of the palace as though they are walking the halls beside her. She didn't just describe the Queen's wardrobe, she offered glimpses into quiet, heartfelt moments filled with laughter, stories, and surprises. These intimate details helped portray a side of the Queen that the public rarely saw. Angela's closeness to the Queen endured over the years, and now she has chosen to reveal something deeply personal that had never before been made public. For many years, Queen Elizabeth II was known to the world through formal portraits and carefully curated photographs that embodied the dignity and heritage of the monarchy. These images upheld centuries of tradition and presented the Queen in her official capacity. Yet beneath the surface was another side of Her Majesty, one that was rarely revealed to the public. Angela Kelly, who had earned the Queen's trust as both her dresser and confidant, shared one of the monarch's most surprising wishes, a desire to be photographed in a more relaxed and natural way. This wish stood in contrast to the royal family's usual practices, where every appearance was meticulously planned to maintain a formal image. As the Queen grew older, she longed for something different, an image of herself that felt more genuine and approachable. Angela recognized this subtle desire and took it upon herself to fulfill it. She organized a private photo shoot, one free from the formal constraints of royal protocol, where the Queen could simply be herself. During this session, photographs were taken that revealed the Queen's personality in a new light. One particularly striking image showed her with her hands tucked casually into her pockets, a simple gesture, yet one that spoke volumes. It reflected a monarch ready to embrace change and willing to share a more personal side with the public. Angela's book, The Other Side of the Coin, is rich with such rare insights and untold stories. Beyond the photo shoot, she revealed other details that offered a fuller picture of the Queen's character. For instance, the Queen's practicality often caught people by surprise. She preferred using fabric from the royal storeroom that had been kept for decades, a small but powerful sign of her frugality and respect for tradition. The overall public reaction was highly positive. Readers were drawn to Angela's heartfelt and respectful storytelling, which portrayed the Queen not just as a sovereign but as a real person, someone with emotions, unique traits, and a deep sense of duty. Many people found the Queen's down-to-earth qualities and humor especially touching. Personal stories, such as her quiet wish for casual photographs and her light-hearted reaction to April Fool's jokes, made her appear more human and approachable. Angela received praise from critics and royal observers alike for her boldness in revealing such intimate glimpses. It was a rare move for a current royal staff member to speak so openly about the Queen's private side, and Angela did it with grace and respect. Her revelations helped reshape how people saw the royal household, not just as a place of formal traditions, but as a space filled with dedication, loyalty, and meaningful personal relationships. Through The Other Side of the Coin, readers gained a rare and touching look into the Queen's world, one defined by elegance, wit, and quiet resilience. Angela Kelly's candid and affectionate portrayal marked a shift in how the public related to the monarch, making her seem more reachable while still honoring her exceptional legacy. What do you think about Angela's special bond with the Queen? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to click on the cards on your screen to discover more intriguing stories.